Greetings, friends. Welcome back. Your wishes have been granted. You're here with the Film Alchemist podcast, here on our October Mega Marathon, the show where we take the movies we love, break them apart, to find out what gives them their magic, kind of magic, flat lighting magic, all the good stuff. I am your host, Josh Griffey, joined as always by my friend, co-host, and guy in a shockingly moist rubber suit,
Alex Dandino.
All right,
I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah. Before today, as we continue our sojourn through the Djinn prison of the Wishmaster series, a little bit of business. Guys, we are on Patreon. That's right, patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. We would so greatly appreciate if you guys can joining our Patreon and supporting the show. You'll get to meet all the kick-ass friends we've already gathered over there. See all the fun stuff we're working on. We have an ever-growing and awesome Patreon-exclusive library that you get to vote on what movies you want to see. Q&As, miniseries, commentaries. You can even pick your own movies at certain tiers. So we got a lot of fun stuff going on over there. We work very hard to make it worth the time and the money. So if you guys can, that's patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. Thank you so much, as always, to those of you who support us. Our community means the world to us. Thank you so much for those of you who are about to as well. Some things you can do to help the show. If money is not an option, we understand. We still appreciate the listens. There's some other things you can help us out with. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Film Alchemist. You can share the show on your social media. Come follow us on social media. We're everywhere you're at. We like to hear from you. Help us, help us. You can email us at filmalchemistpod@gmail.com if you just want to talk, suggestions, movie ideas, whatever you got. We're easy to get a hold of. And make sure you leave 5-star rating and reviews wherever and everywhere you find the show. That does help us defeat the algorithmic wakers who won't make their goddamn wishes and let us unleash podcast heaven upon the earth. Yeah, guys, you know what? I can't do any more of this business. My brain's been melted. So today, as you guys, you know the deal. 31 days, 31 pods. Again, tell your friends, especially the Mega Marathon every October. It's our favorite time of year, and we work our asses off to do this. So the more you guys tell your friends, we would appreciate that greatly. I think we work harder on the October Mega Marathon than whoever the fuck made Wishmaster 3. Beyond the Gates of Hell, is that the official?
Or also, if you watched it on Pluto TV like I did, The Sword of Justice.
Is that what it's called? It's got mini colon.
It's also known as Wishmaster 3 Devil Stone in the United Kingdom. A lot of titles for
Devil
this.
Stone. A lot of titles.
Lot of
not
titles
as many ideas.
A lot of titles for a movie that's rapidly running out of room.
I gotta say, we talked about this with some of our other horror movie series, right? When me and you committed to doing a whole horror movie series in totality,
yeah,
we knew that inevitably there are going to be some movies in the series that are not Cracker Jacks, right? We
Literal
just did Hellraiser,
warlocks.
so we know that too, right? There are hills and valleys with all these franchises. This is, without a doubt, the rock bottom of the Wishmaster series. That said, for all of its deficiencies, the porno scale, the needle blew out like a cartoon and is just spinning like an
Good
F5
Lord.
twister.
Yeah. It's like all the lights
The
are on for
acting
that
is
porno
bad.
scale.
The Djinn just looks fucking atrocious, right? This is like a Wish.com Ivan Ooze.
It's very weird.
It's so bad. His fingernails look like bugles, right? If you ever
Yeah.
used to eat, like every one of us who used to eat bugles, you
Yeah.
would put
Lot
them
of-
on your hands. That's
lot
what
of
the
bugles.
Wishmaster.
Yeah.
And we lost the beating black heart of the franchise, Andrew Durev, who
Divoff.
was Divoff. God damn it, I'm never going to get that name right. I'm happy I got Andrew right. My wish would be that I could remember anyone's fucking name ever. But yeah, we lost
Your brain's
Andrew
gonna
Divoff,
explode.
the beating black heart of the franchise. This reminded me, I remember watching that massive Nightmare on Elm Street documentary, and they talked about how for part 2 of Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert Englund's like, I want paid. I'm Freddy Krueger, and they said, cool, we'll just get a stuntman to do it. And it was so bad and so immediately apparent how important that extra magic that Robert Englund brought that they had to go back and, recast him, and he got his bag, whatever. And that guy's, some of the scenes with the stunt guy are still in Friday the 13th, or Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. This is the prime example, and I'm sure it was a budgetary thing. Maybe Andrew was just fucking sick of Wishmaster and the makeup. Like, I can imagine that. Whatever it was, the biggest hit against this movie is you see the just deficiency in the menace and the ominous presence of the Djinn without Andrew sporting the makeup. Again, I do think this movie finds a way to increase the lore in a kind of interesting way. I did find myself kind of enjoying this in almost a time travel way, right? There was this time when I used to just really like finding these random made-for-TV movies. There was this real sweet spot where we just get these essentially kind of made-for-DVD movies that would just air on TV and be really weird, and you didn't expect much, but you wanted a good time. Right. And I think this scratched that itch for me. So, Alex, open us up on Wishmaster 3, Devil's Stone, Gates of Hell, Sword of Justice.
I mean,
Suit of rubber.
Yeah, this is a veritable pornucopia of riches. There is
Everyone's getting stuffed in this one, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you felt this. Like, I watched these back to back, which, by the way, apparently they were shot back to back. I did a lot of research to find out how these movies got made today, actually.
How did this happen? Yes.
So, for one, these got shot back to back, and I didn't realize this, but apparently Andrew Divoff, our Djinn, there's only one Djinn. Sorry, John Novak. Andrew Divoff is our man. Andrew Divoff had actually written the script for the third movie. It was originally called Wishmaster: The Third Millennium, and it was like going to be a Y2K thing. And
okay, whatever he wants.
They didn't option his script. Here's the thing. That one apparently wasn't good enough, so these were the ones that got made, and so he decided not to come back.
That is a special portal to hell that I will now have to think about.
So
we lost Andrew Divoff because he wrote a script worse than the Wishmaster 3.
Worse than Wishmaster 3 and 4. Basically, he also felt that they weren't able to achieve the effects. The budget was significantly lower. And
I mean, that becomes blatantly obvious.
Very apparent. But yeah, Wishmaster 3 has some very fascinating, not only were we still like real fast and loose with how the wishes work, but now we're getting into actual like theology, which is also strange.
Okay, so I'll say the theology in this one is amped up a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because she's a TA with the TNA, as her friend calls her, at the start of the movie, and just a baffling exchange. As they're fighting over, Wish.com, Joey Lawrence.
Anywho, do you know who that is, though?
No.
The professor? Joel?
Not the professor, the boyfriend.
I was going to say. Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Who's the professor?
The professor, Barash, is Jason Connery, Sean Connery's son.
What?
Yes.
Is he like a bastard son, or is he like the legit, got invited to the holiday parties? He
is the son of Sean Connery and Diane Salento. Legit son.
Oh, wow.
Just
what are the fucking
let
odds?
That sink in.
What are the odds? I want a Vegas line. What are the odds that Sean Connery kicked his fucking feet up, grabbed his pipe, and watched Wishmaster 3, Sword of Justice, Beyond the Gates of Hell, Devil's Stone? What are the odds? Would you put it at 25%? Would you throw the house on it that Sean Connery watched this movie?
I got to be honest, no bet. I don't think
I wouldn't. If you said 10% chance he watched this movie,
I'd say that's pretty high.
Still don't know that I would bet that. I bet it's closer to 0. That's fucking baffling. But goddamn it, now my brain's melted again. Wishmaster 3 is doing irreparable damage to my head. But she starts her TA presentation, right, about Achilles and this and that. They come to this line, right? Often through pain comes catharsis and then spiritual growth, right?
Right.
And I was like, all right, now they're laying it out. Granted, that's, Roman Greek mythology times. But there is this, through the the pain comes a spiritual growth, right? Fine. We go to the exhibition. There is a gem found. The Djinn arrives as he is wont to do.
Hang on.
It is tough.
We got to get into the okay. So for the first one, the gem was buried inside of this statue. Like,
yeah, an alchemist had, confined into the gym, and now he's
like not wanting to draw attention to it at all.
Let's put it this way: the Djinn is never properly secured.
No, yeah, we need
Ever.
to there has never been a single time where anyone's obtained that ruby, and properly secured. Like now, it's finding its way. Like between Wishmaster 3 and 4, we'll get to 4, but like Wishmaster 3, it's like it's like
now it comes in a gift box.
Yeah, it's like the Hellraiser. Well, it's like the Hellraiser puzzle box for dumb people. Like it's just
the Wish.com lamentation configuration. Yeah,
I wouldn't even say Wish.com.
cube.
It's like the MS DOS version of.
When you buy it, you're like, I feel bad. This definitely came from a sweatshop, and I feel terrible.
The first TV, like the first computer we ever got, was full blown. Like it was a compact. It was MS DOS, and I remember there were literally 5 options. And because now we have all this shit, but I remember the mouse had one thing. We didn't have double click; it was literally one click. You made one decision, and that's pretty much this puzzle box of a type. And she has a vision of how it works.
No, it's kind of
pure
like
poppycock.
It's Ghostbusters level preposterous, right? Where they're like, we'll just catch ghosts and put them in a containment that can, if the power goes out, it's going to explode.
Right. Yeah.
It feels like it should be more complicated than that, Egon. Just quit spending so much fucking fungus time and get your ass down there devising circuits and routers and whatever. Whatever, nerd. No, this is even worse than Ghostbusters, though.
Puzzle box for dumb people.
This is the first point. I think it shielded my heart a little bit to imagine this is a different Djinn. Do you think this is the same Djinn?
I don't know. I mean, it's funny you say this because honestly, that's.
But this is the opening thesis of my litigation.
Okay.
Because he behaves so very differently in these two movies.
He also looks different.
He does look different. A little more moist. He's a little sweatier.
Very sweaty, very moist. A lot taller. Not clothed. There's a lot going on.
A lot of fucking
Djinn.
nips out, bugle fingers out.
A lot of bugle fingers.
Do you think this is a different Djinn?
Okay. Sorry, it's weird to say this. You can't talk about Wishmaster 3 without talking about number 4 as well. So, based on other things that happened in number 4, and now that I'm really thinking through this, yes, it definitely could be a different
Number
Djinn.
4 is absolutely not the same Djinn that we saw in first 1 and 2.
No.
I guess you could make a very labored argument that he's learned from his mistakes, but I'm like, dude, this guy's thousands of years old.
Right. No, it's because of that. Well, it's because of that scene after he breaks that guy's hand in half outside the bar.
Okay, we're not doing 4 yet.
That's number 4.
In part 3, I think
in part 3, that makes sense.
Because here's the thing, right? He starts off and he comes out and he meets Professor Dipshit, right? Who essentially was just like, hey, congrats on coming to work tonight. Let me have sex with you, to his TA. And then he's all grumpy when it doesn't. He's sad when it doesn't work, right?
Right.
The Wishmaster comes out. And he essentially fucking rats the professor out. I thought he was making fun of him for a masturbatory fantasy.
No.
I didn't realize the fucking professor's a full-on diddler.
Full-blown diddler.
Because in the voice of the victim, because that's the other thing, the Djinn's voice feels very modulated and horrible. But he does this, no, please stop, Professor. I'm like, the professor's a full-on fucking rapist.
Full-blown. Yeah.
And the Djinn kind of gets him in this fucking legal judo, and he's like, hey, man, I won't rat you out. Just make the wish. And he's like, I want the 2 most beautiful women, according to me, in the whole world to be here right now. And you're like, he thought this out. He thought this out pretty well. All of a sudden, these 2 fucking buxom ladies show up. And you're like, this guy's actually granting the good wish.
Well, speaking of, okay.
It doesn't end up well because they eat him. But
obviously doesn't end up well. But I have to ask this. Do you think the two lovely ladies, the two world's loveliest ladies, were those girls? Do you think he's like fulfilling his terrible fantasies?
You think they're the victims?
Are they the victims? Because, like, again, I don't know. I mean, granted, I didn't think they were going to get like Tyra Banks and Heather Locklear, whoever was popular at that point.
They read older to me.
So the loveliest
and he seemed
ladies
like
in the
a guy
world.
who was like a student hunter.
Right. Well, these are just like the loveliest ladies in the world. Again,
according to him.
My biggest problem in that
the Djinn had to go into his fucking creep haunted
into
house
his
mind.
weird brain and say, okay,
he had to
who
sell
is this
his
guy's?
way into that
Clear
guy's
the cobwebs.
Yeah, and
decide.
Weird Science Fourth, the two most beautiful women according to him.
Which they were lovely.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, one of them could have been from like a J.C. Penney's catalog, and like, who knows where the fuck these ladies came from?
I mean, my assumption was they were both from a J.C. Penney's catalog, so I think that you're right on the money.
They eat him. They cannibalize him, and the Djinn steals his face, and we're off. This is the other thing, too. I think it's kind of weird that they're like, the guy we got to play the Djinn can't be in the movie.
Yeah.
And they had to go with other faces.
Well, it's okay. It's interesting you bring this up because I do like this is something really, and this goes to your theory about it being a different Djinn. Maybe this Djinn just operates differently. Maybe he's a little less entrenched because like to me,
yes, I agree. Go ahead.
My original thought was if this is the same Djinn, he must have gone through Wishmaster 2, spent a lot of time in prison. He's like, I'm going to bulk up for this next round. Like, I'm going to get
He's in there doing
ripped.
some fucking Taibo and shit.
He's inside his little gym. He's inside the Ruby, like, doing Taibo, doing Pilates, and then also, like, I want to be taller next time, too, so I'm going to, like, really bulk up.
Get some of that inversion table
get some
right.
HGH, yeah.
He's focusing on his EMOMs and his macros. He's ready.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do like the idea that this is a different Djinn.
I like the idea that he can't just wish his body to be dope, so he has to put in the sweat and the
He has to put in the work. That's why he's so
equity.
That's why he's so greasy when he comes out.
I don't know how he lifts with those fucking goddamn bugle fingers, but but no, here's my case, right? This is a scene where I was like, this is a different Djinn. Because, you know, the one about I want the two hottest ladies in the world, they fucking eat his face off. I'm like, that's shitty. That's pretty much the Wishmaster's MO is like,
but like literally
clearly was not part of the wish.
Not even close to the wish, but all right.
When he comes back, right, and he's trying to find the waker, right, the girl that woke him up. And he talks to that old smoking lady. And he's kind of going with it, whatever, and he's like, you know, I can only make one wish come true at a time. And she goes, I wish all these files would go up in flames so I can get the hell out of here.
Right.
And I'm assuming all of the files went up in flames, and the only vision we got was her burning just because, you know, small movie. Of course. Yeah, so I'm assuming that he actually burnt the other things. But the fucking Djinn says, I wish you wouldn't have said that. The Djinn shows a genuine moment of, because I couldn't tell, and I'll put this to you. Do you think that was, I don't want to murder you so brutally, or, now I lost my clues? Either way, it's a small moment of remorse.
Also, I don't know if the latter, which is what I would agree with.
Well, remorse for the files, not for the lady, perhaps.
Yeah,
but either way,
I mean,
it's a very starkly different tone.
Yeah.
The original Wishmaster would never, ever in a million years say, I wish you hadn't said that.
Well, I also think the original... Here's the other thing. Actually, I'm fully in agreement with you now. This is a different Djinn, and here's why. The other Wishmaster had a little more understanding of slip of the tongue, and like he had a little more... Like, the tongue twister was a little bit more his style. This Djinn doesn't necessarily listen to the wish as much as it's just like, that sounds like a pretty brutal way to die. I'm gonna go with that. Like, multiple times the wishes that are made happen this way. Like, only one time is there a wish made that I'm like, oh, that's like you twisted the words. But then also to give credence to your theory, when they're in the church right before the archangel shit happens, he actually
you casually just saying that sentence is such fucking poppycock. Like, that's just an insane thing.
It's an insane
to
thing
have as a toss away.
So right before that shit happens, he gets in their face about the way that they're phrasing the wish. Like they phrased it wrong. He gets upset because they phrased it wrong. So I bet it's a different Djinn, and he has different grammatical error rules.
Here's how you know it's a different Djinn. This motherfucker kept working the job of the dead body he made.
Yeah, good Lord.
He went to class the next day and goes, where's the waker? And they go, she's always late. He goes, oh, all right, turn to page 55. Let me tell you how fucking let me tell you how Paris of Troy was a fucking goat fucker. He actually didn't say, oh, she's not here, I'll go hunting. He said, all right, well, I might as well educate the youth of tomorrow.
Right. And tell them all about this weird, like, oh my God.
He's not even asking them what their wishes are. He's just teaching the fucking class.
Right. He's teaching the true history. So yeah, this is a different Djinn.
It's actually pretty fucking stunning.
Can we name him something else instead of Djinn? This is maybe John, perhaps.
Yeah. There is
Jean.
Yeah. This is whatever. It has to be like on a Stitch name tag too. This is like a real like I'm gonna get the job done kind of guy. Yeah. I will say, because this movie begins to devolve into this is where you kind of know that they'd lost the thread of what made Wishmaster good. And I think they did regain a lot of that in part 4, which I'll give them credit for.
Right.
But part 3, there are large stretches of this movie where the Wishmaster is physically running after this girl and her friends. There's a scene when he's physically holding on to the top of the car, trying not to get thrown off. I was like, that is not, the Wishmaster is not the Terminator. He's not Jason, right? This is not the kind of horror we're dabbling in, right? This is a him unleashing our inner darkness on ourselves kind of movie. And in my mind, I was like, the moment I see the Wishmaster run, and I mean, I hate to say it, but Sean Connery did not make a great athletic kid. That was not good running. Not good technique. And, take it for a grain of salt, because if you've seen me in real life, I look like I clearly cannot run at all. Neither here nor there, right? Like, I'm obviously a stranger to the good technique as well.
Sure.
What did you make of this version of the kind of third act? Because this is where my eyes were fucking rolling so hard, I thought it would do permanent damage. What was striking the chords of your heart as you saw the Wishmaster running?
I mean,
not collecting souls and biding his time and committing murder that would draw her in. Running.
I mean, for me, it was like, it seems like a lot of work for an omniscient, like, demon who can literally just be anywhere, anytime without problems. Like,
his limitation is he can't access his powers essentially without a wish, but like you could still be torturing every student there.
Right. There is this that's like the problem is there is this issue of like this one is really bound by the rules of a Djinn. Like for all the things he eschews, like, basic syntax and some other general pronouns, he seems to not understand that like, you're still like a demon. Like you're still like, you can do whatever you want. Like you don't have to have people wish. Like it's just like, it's more, this is the difference. Like Andrew Divoff does this more, just this like this wonderfully villainous thing where it's like,
he's ultra
really
predatory.
He's really enjoying this. I think that's what it is. That's the difference. It's this ultra predatory, like really enjoying the viciousness of his inflictions.
He is a craftsman who enjoys his work.
Yeah. This guy feels like he's just trying to get out. Like he's trying to, like me personally, like when I wake up, I'm like, I'm just trying to get home at the end of the day so I can come home, tuck my kid into bed, get my pod on. That's like me. This Djinn feels like
this Djinn feels like
you
saw
this
yourself.
Is me as a Djinn, like
you're like home. He could have face ripped me. This is exactly what I did.
Like when she's like when they're sitting there and she's like, make the wish. She goes, no. I'm like, you dick. Like and he's gonna be here forever now.
Yeah. No, I mean, it has a couple good kills, right? Like the heart exploding beat was pretty fun.
That's good.
We did
girl
skip,
puking up her guts.
I will say the blow me was such a missed opportunity.
I know.
Come on. Because he physically blew him onto antlers, which was fine. Because then they had the good, like, she watched through his eyes her friend being tortured. I thought that was a good, like, little touch.
Yeah.
I would have died laughing if he had said, granted. Just mouth this dude up.
Yep.
And blew so hard his fucking head exploded, Scanner style.
Yeah.
Or even his whole body, Cassavetes in the Fury style.
Yeah.
What a miss. Or like fucking Big Trouble Little China style. Like any of those kind of
there was a real
balloon
missed opportunity
comedies.
there. Like I think that like that really is the problem. Is like that is like not as creative as I was hoping for.
Well, because the Wishmaster series becomes like Final Destination in a way, right? It's a running gag that Paranormal's the same way. It's a running gag. You know the rules of the gag. So when the trigger hits, you're excited in anticipation. It's like the top of a roller coaster before the drop. When he tells Wishmaster, blow me, you're like, oh, how's he going to do it?
Here he comes.
And when the kill is like, oh, God, I just thought of like 4 funnier things in my head. That's where the letdown begins.
Yeah.
The movie, while not as creative in the kills, did decide to just go absolutely apeshit on some lore.
Yeah.
So she's in a church, right? They go to find this guy.
Dipping our toes.
There's another
in
TA who's like his assistant who just melts and wants to lose weight. That's a weird, like, what was she doing for him? Neither here nor there. She is inspired by the stained glass windows, the power of Jesus, and says, I want to call the Archangel Michael down to defeat you. Here's like kind of the twofold. So one, we are fully admitting this is a God-run universe, right?
Right, yeah. We are fully acknowledging the existence
into Christian
of a monotheistic
theology.
God.
Yes. Just with these added djinns, right? That as white people are apt to do, we have usurped from another culture's mythology and made it our own. So we're fully in this, right?
Yep.
The Archangel Michael doesn't come down as the Archangel Michael. He forms a little ball around the girl. Her boyfriend knocks her out. He is now imbued with the sword of justice and is prepared to take on the Djinn. That is a pretty fucking cool idea. And honestly, like, there's something about the shitty graphics and the shitty sword. It kind of reminded me of like those cheaper sci-fi shows that were all kind of Star Trek knockoffs for a while.
It was a weird. I gotta ask you. This is a strange sword choice for the Archangel Michael. I think I always assumed it was going to be a little bit more of like a big throbbing cock.
It should look like the sword in Berserk. It should be 10 feet long, flaming hellfire. Like at one point when she picks the sword up, it burns her.
Yeah, it should be like a headlopper sword, and it ends up being this strange sort of curvy saber. Not like cool though. It literally is like, oh, they found that at a prop house, and like that will work. Like, I really was disappointed when because again, I was like really hoping it'd just be this mammoth thing.
Yeah,
and it ends up just being like
it's kind of a bummer, and the sword was never going to be as cool. The problem I have with this, it's a really cool idea. I like it. They kneecap themselves immediately because they go, the Archangel Michael's like, I can't do shit. And you're like, well, the wish was for you specifically to do it. Well, the Waker's got to do it. All right, well, like, hold my hands like you're teaching me how to putt-putt like a first date and chop this motherfucker up like what? Right. And also,
well, it's also
I find it hard that like the hammer of God is struggling in a sword fight against this gets back to I had this theory, I think, with all kind of religious horror movies, that this is just God fucking with his own minions. Sure. Right? Like a passive-aggressive middle manager.
Right. Well, I mean, like, I wouldn't even go that far. Like, I would go all the way back to, like, when the possession starts happening. Like, she summons the Archangel Michael, and he comes down to her and starts possessing her body, and all it takes is a gentle shove from Greg.
Yeah, like, Wish.com, right. Joey Lawrence, whoa. And now he's the fucking Archangel.
And now he's the and so the Archangel's like, yeah, sorry, I can't do it. And like, just jump to the body. What's the matter with you, man? Like, how bad are you at this? Like, what's the problem here?
It is baffling. At one point, he cuts off the Djinn's arm. So I'm like, you can do something. You could be more help. But essentially, you're here bitching. A really strange scene. We're getting straight up vibes that Michael's about to fucking lay flaming sword on this girl sexually.
Right. Yep.
Because he's kind of getting the vapors. And then he's like, I better cool myself off with some hardcore fucking anti-woman tirades. And I was like, what the fuck is happening in this goddamn film? So I was actually getting all revved up and loving where it was going. It was so weird and fun.
Right.
And then it just descends to like the Djinn and the Archangel Michael in their lame white guy forms rolling down the stairs. And it just wasn't, I was expecting it to get to this other place. Because again, I understand the budget thing. You lost the star of the movie.
Sure.
All right, man. And when they went weird, I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Have those terrible hand-drawn effects, right? Have that rubber suit guy fully embrace. I think one of the prime examples of this was Jason X, right? Mm-hmm. A movie that just so fully embraced its kind of campiness.
Sure.
And that's what this movie was this fucking close. It was this fucking close despite all of its deficiencies.
That's what you want. Like, this like, it has all of these earmarks of, has all these earmarks of Skinamax, and you're like, cool. Yes. Like, fucking lean into this. Like, it's okay. Like, we'll accept it. Like,
it's okay to make a trashy movie. It's fine.
Literally, Wishmaster 2 had a guy fuck himself. Like, I'm totally fine, and I'm on board. Like,
God,
I'm here for that. I'm here for that kind of shit. Yeah. To try to take it seriously, like, add this very weird Catholicism, theology thread that, like, totally should have ended with Michael the Archangel having sex with a woman on the earth. You're like, whoa. Also, angels are fucking awesome.
Why call down the Archangel Michael if he's going to be a piece of shit and not do anything cool?
Is he just going to bitch the whole time?
So now I found out that Djinn suck and angels suck, and by proxy, God sucks. And by proxy, the devil sucks. Yeah, and O'Doyle rules. We're the best. We fucking beat the shit out of everyone.
Apparently, like... Again, they just keep picking the worst humans to fuck around with. Yeah. Like, it's just not worth it.
Also,
that's the problem.
A little flippant to have her crawl back in the car to save the Archangel Michael in defiance of her traumatic recurring PTSD over losing her family in a car accident.
Right.
To then have her go, I better still jump off this roof. I was like, that is a little fucking flippant for my taste. But
wait, is that this one? I thought that was the fourth one.
No, this is the car. Dad dies in the car accident, and she pulls Archangel Michael out after they flip. You remember the Djinn gets creamed on another car, and he has to like pull himself back together?
Right, yeah. No, I remember. Oh, yeah.
There's definitely a car accident in both. Well, the one's a motorcycle in part 4. But
Jesus Christ. That is how this has gone today. These movies
This is the other loophole, right? Because I was like, this is one of those things that bother me, right? If you're making a low budget, kind of weirder, campier movie, right? I'm all for that. I'll do that journey with you, right? One of our favorite rituals used to be whatever was on Thursday night sci-fi, like Ice Spiders, Avalanche Shark, whatever. We'd watch those and enjoy them, make dinner, and that was like our date night. I'll do this with you. I'm the right guy to do this.
Right.
I already saw that the Archangel Michael can cut the Wishmaster's arm off.
Right.
Right? You think that was a lead up to, when the Wishmaster catches her jumping off the building, right, that he was going to cut the arm off again. Because what happens if the Waker dies? Is he caught in this limbo forever as a Djinn who can not be in charge of his own life? He's kind of this hollow husk. Seems like a pretty good fucking trap for creatures that essentially always get out unless God himself wants, because she falls off the roof because the sword floats, right? It like bounces as it floats over to her. She stabs him. They fall together, right? She goes, it was the only way. And religious power, presumably the Archangel Michael himself, fucking heals her. So we see that he can specifically intervene in these matters of life and death.
Right.
I kind of wanted them to go a little campier and trashier with the giant flaming sword fight.
Yeah.
I wanted my Alien versus Predator moment at the end, right? Alien Queen and Predator and Sanaya Lathan versus... Like, I wanted that moment in this.
I like to think, now that we're really dissecting the Djinn problem... I like to think that this is definitely a different Djinn because maybe this is one that got caught. Maybe that happened to him already. So he's like trying his damnedest for that not to happen again.
See, that's the thing. If it happened to him already, I think he's fucked forever. There can't be another Awakener.
You can't get another Awaker?
I don't think so. He can go back in the gym, right?
You don't think there's like a reset button when you go back in the gym?
When he gets foiled in the first two and he's sent back to the gym,
right,
he cannot be able to come out again until he is awoken by a specific person, the Waker, right?
Right.
If she goes down, he can go in and out of the gym on his own accord, and that specifically means he cannot be awoken again. So she had him in a legal loophole. If Michael was really most concerned about defeating the Djinn, this is the way to do it, unless we are to believe there are many, many of these Djinn out there waiting to be freed.
I will say this ruby is found in a very different spot than the first two.
Yeah, because the first ones are like, this Djinn sucks. Bury him in concrete and exhibits. This one comes in a jewelry box.
This one comes in a Claire's box, so that makes a lot of sense.
Well, what's this underneath my scrunchies? Oh, dear God. Yeah, I like how Michael's like, you've awoken. And she's like, bitch, I just fucking went to work. Like, this is your fault. You guys in heaven who can clearly intervene in everything, and this is all part of your fucking plan, you motherfucker. I wish she would have yelled at him a little more. Michael and the Archangel Michael in this is a little bit Dwight Schrute-like. Like a lot of indignation for a guy who should be doing a better job. Like, come on now. I don't know, man. I did like at the end, too, when it cut to black, and it was, directed by Chris Angel. And I was like, I got mind freaked, right? Like, I like to think of this as, one giant magical fucking stunt. I don't know. I will say this. This is the craggy, rocky bottom of the Wishmaster quadrilogy.
Yes.
I do think there's enough kind of fun ideas and fun. And I like seeing the Wishmaster, even if it's not the Wishmaster I wish I was watching. I just like this movie, this series. I like these setups, right? It's just my thing, man. So I try to overlook a lot of the imperfections. And I have fun with the idea of, the lore and actually calling down Archangel Michael and this and that. And I get it. A lot of people who will listen to this are either the very few of us that actually like Wishmaster 3, which I'm not even here to lie and say it's a good movie, or it's people who are like, why the fuck are they doing an episode on Wishmaster 3? But I think that's kind of one of the things we love about October. It is fun to dive into the ones that are often less covered.
Yeah, it's
and
a delight.
The fun thing about a series is seeing how the mythology evolves from movie to movie. And while I do think this is the lowest, I think it sets up for a pretty fun kind of flip of the script in the next movie.
I think if you do subscribe to the theory that this is a different Djinn, it does make Wishmaster 4 that much more entertaining.
You cannot watch Wishmaster 4 and think this is the same Djinn from part 1 and 2. It's fucking impossible, as we will discuss tomorrow.
You would hope not.
Yeah. As part of our October mega marathon. That's it. Maybe our wish was granted and we're done with Wishmaster 3. I don't know, man. I still think it's fun. It's still a fun.
I'm not saying it's not fun.
Time, yeah.
They're Wishmasters.
I actually think they were pretty close to a camp classic. Had they neither here nor there. That's it, guys. You know the deal. 31 days, 31 pods every day this month. So, guys, it would really mean a lot to us if you would spread the word about the October Mega Marathon. It's our big push every year. It's our big event. We love doing it, and we would love to share it with as many people as we can. You guys can help us out with that. Something else you can help us out with, go to patreon.com/filmalchemistpod. Go support the show there. Make your voice heard, man. Make us grant your wishes, right? Good wishes. We don't do that silliness. We're milk and honey wishes. That's what we do. So go on over there. You can vote on the exclusives. You can hear the commentaries, miniseries, all kinds of fun stuff, man. We're working really hard over there, and we would appreciate and love to have you. Make sure you leave rating and reviews wherever you find the show and everywhere you find the show. Help us defeat the algorithmic Archangel Michaels that be doing nothing for us, man. You know what I mean? Help us out. The email, filmalchemistpod@gmail.com. The YouTube channel, Film Alchemist. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow for the epic conclusion. Wishmaster 4, Prophecy fulfilled. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be magical. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.